Okay, so let's dive into something crunchy and salty this time.
Hmm, sounds delicious.
We're talking Bikaji Foods International Ltd.
Oh, yeah, the Indian snack company.
You know them for their Pujia and Namkeen.
I do.
You sent over their latest financials and investor presentation.
Right.
Now I know what you're thinking.
What am I thinking?
This sounds kind of dry,
Yeah.
but trust me,
Okay.
there's actually a fascinating story here.
Good.
It's about how this company is making waves in a massive market.
I'm intrigued.
So our mission today is to figure out what really matters
Right.
about Bikaji's performance this past quarter,
Gotcha.
and maybe uncover some surprising insights along the way.
I love surprises.
Well, you might be surprised at what we find.
Okay.
Financial reports are often like a treasure map.
Oh,
You just need to know where to dig.
I like that analogy.
All right, so Bikaji just had their board meeting
Oh, okay.
on October 24th, 2024,
Mm-hmm.
and they released their unaudited results for the second quarter of fiscal year 2025.
All right.
Quick reminder, their fiscal year runs
Yeah.
from April 1st to March 31st.
So,
We're looking at the period
Right.
from July 1st to September 30th of 2024.
got it.
Now the headline number, revenue, is up.
Okay.
A solid 18.5%
Hmm.
compared to last year.
That's pretty good.
So that tells us people are really hungry for Bikaji snacks.
Exactly. And what's even more impressive is that a big chunk of that growth,
Yeah.
a healthy 15%, comes from increased sales volume.
Oh, wow.
They're not just hiking prices, they're actually moving more product.
So people aren't truly snacking more,
Yeah.
but are they making more money with all this growth?
That's the question, isn't it?
What's the profitability picture looking like?
I mean, profitability is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Their EBITDA margin,
Yeah.
a measure of how efficiently they're running the business,
Right.
is looking healthy at 14.8%.
Okay.
Even better, it's actually up from last year.
Wow.
Which is pretty impressive considering all the rising costs they're facing across the board.
It's a tough market out there
It is.
for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Their gross margin also tells a similar story,
Right.
sitting pretty at 33.4%, also up from last year.
Nice.
So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
It seems like they're managing those cost increases pretty effectively for now.
Yeah, they seem to be.
Okay, so these were the consolidated results, right?
That's right.
Meaning we're seeing the combined performance of Bikaji and all the other companies they own.
Yeah, these numbers give us a bird's eye view,
Mm-hmm.
but to really understand what's driving their success, we need to zoom in and see where this growth is coming from.
Let's break it down.
Right.
Their investor presentation actually breaks down their growth by both product category
Right.
and geography.
This level of detail allows us to see what's working well and where their focus might be shifting.
So first up, product segments.
Okay.
Looks like ethnic snacks, including their famous bujia,
Mm-hmm.
are still the heart and soul of their business,
Right. Makes sense.
making up about 65.5% of their product mix.
Oh.
But what caught my eye is the impressive growth in packaged sweets,
Interesting.
up a whopping 23.2% year over year.
Wow, that's huge.
That's a smart move considering the Indian market.
Yeah,
Packaged sweets are a huge part of the culture,
absolutely.
especially during festivals and celebrations.
Great.
It's a natural extension of their existing snack portfolio and a great way to tap into those festive occasions.
Yeah, totally.
Makes perfect sense.
It does.
Western snacks also saw growth,
Okay.
but at a slower pace.
Yeah.
Now let's switch gears
Okay.
and look at their geographic breakdown.
Right.
They've divided their markets into core markets,
Mhm.
likely their established strongholds,
Yeah.
and focus markets,
Okay.
where they're actively trying to expand their footprint.
And here's where it gets really exciting.
Oh,
Those focus markets are showing explosive growth.
like how much are we talking?
A remarkable 34.1% year over year.
Wow. 34.1% growth.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
It is.
It seems like they're onto something big with this expansion strategy.
For sure.
Maybe they see even greater potential in these new territories
Right.
compared to their more established markets.
That's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see if they can maintain this momentum
Right.
and if these new markets eventually become as profitable as their core regions.
Speaking of expansion,
Yeah.
they've been incredibly busy on that front.
It seems like it.
Just in September 2024,
Okay.
they established a new subsidiary called Bikaji Foods Retail Ltd.
And this new venture is particularly interesting.
Oh, how so?
Well, because it signals their entry into the quick service restaurant or QSR space.
So they're not just sticking to supermarket shelves
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly.
They're branching out.
And they're clearly not dipping your toes in the water.
No, they're not.
They made a significant investment
Okay.
of about 76.5 million US dollars
Wow.
for a 25% stake in this new subsidiary. That's a bold move. And it definitely suggests they see a lot of potential in this new QSR business.
Yeah.
But hold on tight because their expansion doesn't stop there.
Oh, I know.
They've been on a bit of an acquisition spree.
It's almost like they're playing a real-life game of Monopoly.
Uh-huh. I like that.
First, in early September, they acquired a 55% stake in Ariba Foods Private Limited,
Okay.
which focuses on, you guessed it, frozen food and QSR.
Makes sense.
That deal was worth about $73.4 million.
Gotcha.
Then, just this month, they announced acquiring a 53.02% stake
Wow.
in Hazelnut Factory Food Products Private Limited,
What?
a cafe and artisanal sweets brand.
Wow, they're all over the place.
That one's costing them a cool $159 million paid out in installments over the next 2 years.
It seems they're very strategically targeting the QSR and frozen food segments.
Yeah.
Perhaps they're recognizing the growing demand for convenient, ready-to-eat options in India,
Right.
especially among younger consumers.
It's like they're anticipating the future of snacking in India.
Yeah, very forward-thinking.
But while they're making all these big moves,
Mhm.
there's one big question looming.
What's that?
How are they handling the rising costs of, well, everything?
That's a crucial question.
Yeah.
The investor presentation actually gives us some insight into the cost of their raw materials,
Okay.
and it's a little concerning.
All right, lay it on me.
Edible oil is up 8.7% from September 2023.
Ooh,
Pulses and flours have increased by 10%.
really?
And even the cost of packaging materials like laminates and corrugated boxes has gone up.
Yeah, I've noticed that in the grocery store, too.
Right, it's everywhere.
It's no wonder they're focusing on maintaining those profit margins.
These are industry-wide challenges that everyone is grappling with.
For sure.
The question is, how long can they absorb these rising costs before they have to start passing them on to consumers?
Right.
It's a delicate balancing act.
It's like they're walking a financial tightrope,
It is a tightrope walk.
trying to balance growth, profitability, and this ambitious expansion all at once.
It's got a lot on their plate.
It's a risky move, but if they pull it off,
Mm-hmm.
the payoff could be huge.
Exactly. It requires careful planning and execution.
Yeah.
But from what we've seen so far, Bikaji seems to have a good handle on things.
They're certainly not shying away from a challenge.
Not at all.
But now, let's shift gears a bit and dig deeper into their financials.
Oh,
Time to put on our financial detective hats.
I love playing detective.
Me too. Let's see what we can uncover.
All right, let's do it. All right, let's roll up our sleeves and delve into the nitty-gritty of Bikaji's financial statements.
Okay.
We're going beyond the headlines here.
I like it.
We're looking at what's happening behind the scenes.
I'm ready.
One thing that jumps out at me is the significant increase in their property, plant, and equipment.
Interesting. What does that tell us?
Well, this suggests they're investing heavily in building out their production capacity.
It's like building bigger kitchens to make more snacks.
Exactly. It's a clear indication of their commitment to supporting those ambitious growth plans we discussed earlier.
Right. If you're going to enter new markets and introduce new products,
Yeah,
you need the infrastructure to back it up.
you got it.
Makes sense. It's like laying the foundation for a bigger, bolder Bikaji.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another key takeaway is their increased cash and cash equivalents.
Okay. Cash is king, right?
It is, and this is where things get really interesting.
Okay. I'm all ears.
Remember all those acquisitions we talked about?
Oh, yeah. Those were big.
But their cash on hand has increased significantly.
I see. So they're using this extra cash wisely
It seems so.
by investing in those acquisitions and funding their new QSR subsidiary.
They're not afraid to put their money where their mouth is.
They're definitely in growth mode.
Big time. But it also raises an important question.
Oh, what's that?
Are they taking on too much debt to finance all of this expansion?
That's a good point. We
Right.
need to look at the flip side of the coin, their liabilities.
Right, exactly. We need to see the whole picture.
So their borrowings have gone up,
They have.
but it doesn't seem like an alarming increase.
True. It seems pretty controlled.
Yeah.
They've taken on some additional debt, but it's still within a manageable range.
So they seem to be striking a balance
Yeah, I think so.
between using their own cash reserves And leveraging debt strategically
Right.
to fuel their growth.
It's a delicate dance.
It is a bit of a financial balancing act.
It is.
But so far, they seem to be doing it well.
I agree. Now let's shift our attention to their income statement.
Okay.
This is the real scorecard of their business performance.
The bottom line.
Exactly as we discussed earlier. Their revenue is growing nicely,
Yeah.
and their operating profit is following suit. But what about their profit margins?
Right. Are they managing to keep those healthy?
Yeah, with all those rising costs.
That's the question. Are they maintaining profitability as they scale?
What do the margins tell us?
Well, their gross margins have remained relatively stable,
Okay, that's good.
right? It's a good sign.
Considering all those inflationary pressures,
Yeah, we talked about that.
it suggests they're managing their direct production costs effectively.
That's encouraging, but what about their operating margins?
Right. Are they able to keep their overall costs in check?
Yeah, as they grow.
And expand into these new ventures?
Well, their EBITDA margins have improved slightly,
Okay.
but they're still below their historical average.
I see.
This suggests that while they're doing a decent job of managing costs,
Yeah.
they're not completely immune
Right.
to the impact of those rising input prices.
It's something to keep an eye on?
Definitely something to watch in the coming quarters.
Agreed. It's a reminder that even with impressive growth and ambitious plans, there are always challenges to navigate.
Always.
It's a constant balancing act.
Absolutely. They're juggling growth, profitability, and expansion all at once.
It'll be fascinating to see how this all plays out over the next few quarters.
It's like a high-stakes game of financial chess.
It really is.
But, to bring it back to our listener,
Yeah,
why should all of this matter to them?
that's a great point.
Bikaji's story is fascinating, but how does it connect to their own lives?
Well, whether you're an investor, a consumer, or just someone interested in the Indian economy,
Yeah.
Bikaji's story is a window into the dynamics of a rapidly growing market.
Makes sense.
It shows us the challenges and opportunities businesses face,
Right.
the strategic decisions they make,
Uh-huh.
and how they navigate a constantly evolving landscape.
It's almost like they're a microcosm of the Indian growth story itself.
You could say that.
It's a story of ambition, innovation, and a willingness to take risks.
Precisely. And it's far from over. But now let's shift our focus to a completely different aspect of their business.
Okay.
One that's just as crucial as their financials,
What's that?
their marketing strategy.
Oh, yeah. Marketing.
Remember that tie-in with Kan Banega Kurapati we mentioned earlier?
Oh, yeah. That was a big one.
There's a lot to unpack there.
I bet.
It gives us some valuable insights into how they're connecting with consumers on an emotional level.
Okay, let's talk marketing.
All right.
We touched on it earlier.
Yeah.
But their approach is so interesting, it deserves its own deep dive.
Agreed. It's very strategic.
From what we've seen, they've been everywhere.
They have.
TV, radio, even tying in with that wildly popular game show,
Oh, yeah.
Kaun Banega Kurapati.
I love that show.
I know, it's huge.
Yeah.
That's a major marketing play.
It is.
So what's the big picture message
Yeah. What are they trying to get across?
with this national campaign?
Well, their marketing strategy is a really fascinating blend of nationwide campaigns and hyper-local initiatives.
Interesting.
They seem to understand that to capture the hearts.
And stomachs
Exactly.
of such a diverse market like India.
Right.
They need to speak to different regions and demographics
Yeah.
in a way that resonates with each of them.
It's about connecting on a personal level.
It's like they're speaking multiple languages,
Yeah.
not just literally, but culturally too.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's start with that big national campaign.
All right.
They've got those catchy TV commercials, running radio spots,
Mm-hmm.
and even partnered with Kaun Banega Kurapati.
Wait.
I'm imagining families all over India
Yeah.
snacking on Bikaji while watching people win millions.
Right.
What's the core message they're trying to convey with this kind of broad approach?
Well, if we look closer at their ads, the common thread seems to be a focus on family,
Okay.
togetherness, and sharing.
Okay, I can see that.
The visuals often show families enjoying Bikaji snacks together,
Yeah,
especially those larger family packs we discussed earlier.
makes sense.
They're tapping into that emotional aspect of snacking. It's not just about the food, it's about those special moments you share with loved ones.
That's clever. Snacking is often a social activity,
It is,
especially in India.
for sure.
But what about their regional marketing efforts?
Okay.
We talked about
Right.
branded autos in Patna and bus ads in Rajasthan.
Right. Very localized.
What's the thinking behind that kind of localized approach?
This is where their understanding of the nuances of the Indian market really shines.
Oh, how so?
India is a country with incredibly diverse languages, cultures, and even taste preferences.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What works in one region might fall flat in another.
Right.
So by going hyper-local, They're able to tailor their marketing messages and
Okay.
channels to resonate with specific audiences.
So they're not just shouting their message from the rooftops.
Nope.
They're having intimate conversations at the dinner table, so to speak.
Uh-huh. I like that.
Do we have any specific examples of how they're customizing those messages for different regions?
Well, the investor presentation mentions they're using different languages for their ads,
Okay.
targeting specific regional festivals and celebrations,
Right.
and even sponsoring local events.
Smart.
It's all about being present and active in the communities where their customers live and shop.
It's like they're weaving themselves into the cultural fabric of each region.
Yeah, they want to be a part of the community.
No wonder they're seeing such strong growth in those focus markets.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just traditional advertising.
Oh, really?
Their new QSR venture with Bikaji Foods Retail Limited
Okay.
is another brilliant example of this.
How so?
They're recognizing that consumer preferences are changing.
Uh-huh.
People are increasingly looking for convenient on-the-go options.
It's all coming together now.
Yeah,
They're not just selling snacks, they're building a whole Bikaji ecosystem and
Right.
experience.
exactly. A brand experience.
Family packs you enjoy at home
No.
to the quick bites you grab on the run.
Yeah.
They want to be a part of every snacking occasion.
It's smart, very smart.
It's a smart strategy.
It is.
And the numbers seem to indicate it's working.
They do.
Their focus on those larger packs is clearly resonating with consumers.
Right.
And their expansion into QSR is allowing them to tap into a whole new segment of the market.
It's like they're building a snacking empire.
Brick by Delicious Brick.
Uh-huh. I love it.
Well, there you have it.
That's Bikaji.
We've unpacked Bikaji's remarkable growth story,
Their ambitious expansion plans.
explored their bold expansion into new markets and categories,
Decoded their marketing strategies.
examined the challenges they face.
It's a story that's still unfolding.
It is full of potential twists and turns,
That's
and I'll definitely be keeping an eye on it.
Absolutely. But before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I think it's important to leave you with something to chew on.
Okay, hit me.
We've seen how Bikaji is leveraging its heritage and expertise in ethnic snacks
Uh-huh.
to branch out into new categories like sweets and Western snacks.
Right.
But can they maintain that authenticity as they diversify?
That's a good question.
Can they be both the Bougie King
Yeah.
and the QSR King at the same time?
That's the million rupee question, isn't it?
It is.
And one that we'll be watching closely.
For sure.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Bikaji.
Until next time, happy snacking.